Hey guys, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. We're on the high seas now. We have left the rather boring Outset Island behind. And I say boring strictly in the sense that Link's kind of a country bumpkin. You know, he's not partial to any of the big cities out on the Great Sea, or one of them, so I guess hanging with the pirates will help him to mature a little bit.
Hey, displaying Link's humble beginnings just makes him more effective when you see him actually be heroic and then people compliment him on how heroic he is.
You know, I call him a country bumpkin, but I think that title best belongs to Twilight Princess Link.
I think you can still technically be a country bumpkin and be from an island. You can be a bumpkin at least.
Gotta go below decks now. Bit of, I don't even know if you could call it like auto-jump tutorial time.
Yeah, I would definitely go with that, even though the bridge perfectly facilitated that. I mean, it had three little gaps that you needed to either have the faith, the knowledge, or sheer luck that you walked right off of them and jumped off.
But no, you don't understand. It didn't have a character and a text box telling us these things.
But no, please understand, Ruru, you need to learn.
This is one of the most camp characters I've ever seen in a Zelda game. And yes, I'm including Tingle.
Well, the pirates are all pretty dope, though. He did let you know that the reason that they're all taking orders from a small child is because this was originally Tetra's mother's crew, but when she passed away, Tetra became the new captain, and now everyone takes orders from her.
I like Nico. We'll be seeing him again in Phantom Hourglass and way down the timeline in, well, not way down, like, how long...
Years.
How long does Spirit Tracks, like, take place after Phantom Hourglass?
I stand by my previous answer of years.
X years, thank you, Mexi. Okay, let's watch him and then follow his example. See, pretty easy, you just run and you jump.
Monkey see, monkey do. Unless Monkey is watching footage already pre-recorded by Antom.
Yeah, well, if you want to see me play a game live, at the time this goes up, Shadow of the Colossus should be ongoing.
Okay, that's cool. Man, Nico's kind of adorable, but Gonzo is definitely my favorite.
Gonzo is the one with the spiral glasses, right?
No, Gonzo is the big dude with the red bandana who would later be Link's, like, senpai, train senpai in Spirit Tracks.
Well, you mean his descendant would be Link Senpai?
Something like that. Timelines, even though it's basic descendants or whatever. This would be a pretty good tutorial, except this isn't the only one. I hope you know how to do this, because you're going to be doing this a couple times in the game.
Next time they take the platforms out. Ooh, it's challenging, but real talk, I think I failed this the first time I played.
I'm pretty sure I did too, because I was bad at video games the first time I played Wind Waker. I mean, I didn't even own it. I was over at a cousin's house playing it.
They were asking me to deal with momentum, and outside of Sonic games, I just couldn't deal with that in a 3D game.
Even inside a Sonic game, momentum doesn't fucking work, so don't use that as your baseline. I love this guy has all ego, zero perception.
Yeah.
It's the best. They also did a little change to the lighting when you get items. I know that for some, it gets really dark, except for around the item itself. And it doesn't happen all the time. Like with there, Link didn't really get too dark. The lighting was still pretty even, pretty similar to original. But I know that for some items, like it just, especially when it's in the middle of the day and Link is completely blackened out, it's really off.
We can keep stuff dropped from enemies in that swag bag, by the way. Golden feathers, skull necklaces, hero crests, stuff like that.
Joy pendants.
Oh yeah? Oh fuck, I forgot all about the joy pendants. Jesus Christ.
Side quests.
Ah, what a beautiful moon.
What a lovely night for a curse.
10 hours later.
Still climbing the ladder later.
You're now on the bottom rung, Link.
How? Wait, what? Time control, man. I like how Tetra is zero nonsense, or she gives off zero nonsense, because if she truly didn't care, she wouldn't have gone to all this trouble. But it is kind of funny that her actions are in complete contradiction to what she says. Like, she does nice things, but she's like, I don't care. I'm a tough, hardcore pirate chick.
She one of those tsundere girls.
Yes, and this is her nakama, and they're on the cruise, and she's gonna find the One Piece, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you for not correcting my deliberately mispronounced version of tsundere.
Like I know what that means.
How the fuck do you pronounce that word? Please leave a comment and correct my ignorance.
Please to be understanding my English.
And one single character trait in 3, 2, 1. Wink!
If she winks, she's Tetra. If she's not, then all of the speculation threads can be, she didn't wink, so she's not Tetra.
How did they get him into the barrel without him noticing?
And here we can hear Link laying down some sick beats.
I know exactly what video you're referring to.
Everyone knows which video I'm referring to. That's why I made the reference. It wouldn't work if I reference a video no one's seen.
Alright, count it down.
Grumpy. Mad.
I think just resigned to his fate, really.
It's all the stages of loss. He tried bargaining with them at the beginning, then came anger, and an acceptance at the end.
And here's a contrived reason for losing your sword.
It fell. Not far from you. Now it's far from you.
Might want to get out of the water, you do have a drowning meter.
Oh yeah, you do have that, which seems both necessary and unnecessary. It's like, in the games that didn't have all that much water, you could swim indefinitely. But in the game with the most amount of water, they had to limit your time in the ocean, but that's obviously to help prevent sequence breaking, which they ended up being very unsuccessful in. So this is going to be your fairy equivalent. Despite how much more whimsical and cutesy the game is, they actually took out a lot of the fantasy elements. So, your navigational fairy, gone. Instead, Link just targets out of instinct, I believe. And then your enemy information, again, out of nowhere, but can also be provided through characters communicating with that gossip stone, which cannot be sent to space by throwing a bomb at it.
Actually, that's a good point. Is Wind Waker and Wind Waker HD, I guess, the only 3D Zelda not to have a partner character who actively talks to you like as you go through the world, not counting the character we'll come into contact with in, I think, the end of this part.
Yeah, this is one of the few, if not the only, where your partner character is not physically with you at all times. Because all the other ones, they're either in your sword or flying around you. I know in the 2Ds, not so much, but definitely in the 3Ds.
In case you haven't figured it out by now, Forsaken Fortress is basically a forced stealth section. If you get caught, you will be thrown in jail. But don't worry, it's very easy to break out.
It's based off the American prison system, so once you're in, you're out. Also, another thing, too, is that I'm not sure if it's kept in the HD. I'm not super up to date on the HD's glitches. I'm more familiar with the original glitches, but definitely in the original, if you put a barrel over you and immediately take it off, you can pretty much sneak past a lot of these moblins, like literally walking right next to him. I remember for the longest time, it was theorized that when you put the barrel on and immediately take it off, people believe that the game glitches out and thinks you're still under the barrel. And that theory stuck for a long time, because there was really nothing that contradicted it. All the evidence supported that theory. But what was later found out is it makes even less sense. When you put the barrel on and immediately take it off, all the enemy's sight vision gets narrowed and shortened until they sniff the ground. So like I said, it would make more sense that the game just thought you were still under the barrel, but no, the enemy's line of sight is triggered by you being under a barrel.
You'll get like a narrow window where they'll spot you, and if you immediately stop moving, they'll just go back to patrolling, but it is extremely narrow. It's
still the first dungeon, so they can't throw everything at you right now, but this was probably my first issue when I played Wind Waker the very first time was, like, to me, I was thinking, oh yeah, first dungeon. I was all hyped for first dungeon. It's like, oh wait, this is a stealth dungeon. This is a force stealth dungeon. What the hell is going on? Didn't I just get my sword?
And if you think about it, Ocarina of Time didn't throw you into a forced stealth section until, I guess your, like, path to
Zelda.
Actually, yeah, to Zelda. I was thinking more of the path to the Forest Temple, but you're actually correct there.
It's after the first dungeon. Majora's Mask stealth section is before the first dungeon, but it's still quite a ways into the game, and you can skip half of it anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really weird that they throw this out there, but at the same time, I kind of like it from a narrative perspective, because Link is not a warrior. He has no warrior training. He was just a kid out in the middle of the island, so it kind of feels right that this kid who didn't grow up fighting, he's using his wits first, and then he starts developing, like, his combative skills.
You're supposed to use your shield to actually make this guy drop his stick, but for whatever reason, it just was not happening here.
See, what I usually do is, there's a barrel over there full of sticks, right there, and I'll just have him hit me in the pot, and then use the sticks from there. Or you could throw him yourself, it really doesn't matter.
I'll meet you halfway and chuck it right at his head.
There you go. Honestly, if only pots could be like they were in A Link to the Past, where they did like times 8 damage, then maybe, but you can also kill those guys by knocking them off the ledge and he just falls to his death, because, you know, giving enemies fall damage, it's only fair.
Right, and we've taken out the one spotlight that was in our way right now, so we can just basically go and rescue Errol.
See, it's not even all that long. The definite problem for me was I was getting lost way too easy. I don't know how, because this area is not big. It's not all that labyrinth-esque, but I managed to get lost here for a while, and I was stuck in a stealth section. I just really wanted my sword so I could get back to hitting things. See, the lighting gets really weird when he's by those torches, and it's almost like a completely different model gets transitioned halfway, but I think it's just an error in the whole conversion. They said that most of it very easily shifted over, but there were definite parts that they actually had to uniquely transition into the Wii U's hardware. So the game didn't just one-to-one convert, but for the most part, it definitely did convert. Sometimes to the discredit of the game, because a lot of very easily, very casually found clips and errors in the geography stuck.
One more path and we will be able to rescue our sister. How you feeling, Maxi?
Tense? Is that the emotion I'm supposed to be getting from this whole situation?
I suppose so. That's what stealth is meant to imbue in you. You know, you want to be calm, you want to be cautious. Overly calm, to the point of being tense, I should say.
Overly calm to the point that you stay in your barrel for 5 minutes, even though the enemy left to go home like 2 hours ago.
This is actually a really awkward bit. See, he almost saw me there, but he's gonna walk, like, towards us. And again, the window is quite narrow, where you can basically carry on walking and get around that corner before he starts walking back.
It seems like it, but believe it or not, the second he starts walking, the window's gone. Like, you are good as soon as he starts walking in the other direction. But I think it just goes to the credit of, like, the art design, where you think he sees more than what he actually sees.
Yeah, and to Majora's Mask's credit, in that stealth section, the guards actually had these white dots in front of them that allowed you to see their line of sight. A lot harder to see during the day.
Yeah, that's sort of a fair trade-off, even though that can kind of eliminate the tension of stealth, is that when you know exactly where the enemies can see, because at that point, then it's like basic dodging. The Siddle mechanic, I believe?
Sidle, mate.
Sidle? No, I've heard Siddle, bro, so don't even. These hearts, because we're gonna have combat soon. I believe.
Of course.
Or if you want to believe in Zelda lore, these could be left over by Errol and the Seagulls.
Or the Minish.
Let's not go that far into the lore.
Do you believe that the Minish are the ones who put, like, everything in the grass and underparts?
In Minish Cap, yes. In all other games, no. Shut up.
Because that would imply there's some in Skyloft as well.
No. God fucking no.
I fucking love the mini-boss theme in this game. It's slightly tweaked in the HD version, along with a few other tracks which I'll complain about down the line, but the general melody is kept intact, and I just love it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they remastered the music. It's like, why? That's definitely one question with a lot of the HD remake is, why? Why Wind Waker? This was the one game where its aesthetic essentially transcended time and didn't really need to be updated to look prettier. The music was some of the best and memorable. Why tweak it? So there's just a lot of questions, but then it just all goes back to that they were chugging a whole bunch of games into the Wii U. They really needed to test the hardware. They really needed a game to serve as a buffer between Skyward Sword and the next game. And Wind Waker just ended up being the primest of candidates.
I'm still butthurt, and I'm a little bit salty that they had Zelda U footage and didn't show it off at E3 2015.
I would honestly have been more buttered if they were like, hey, we're releasing another Zelda next year. Now, I'm still peeved off that the year Skyward Sword came out, the very next E3, everyone was complaining that they didn't show Zelda. It's like, you guys just got Zelda. What the fuck are you complaining about?
What do you think of the Helmaroc King?
I love his colors.
Oh yeah.
I love that he's a giant chicken. And I like how he's very set up to seem... Like, when you first see him, you don't get the impression that he's a minion. Like, he just seems like a very natural force.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to the end of this dungeon, you're like, oh shit, this giant-ass bird is actually being controlled. So... I mean, not only does the Helmaroc King himself get an intimidation factor, but he also is helping other characters appear more intimidating.
Oh yeah. And I think we all know who that boss character is. Let's keep it a surprise until he pops up in the story.
But Tom, I want to seem super smart in the comments by being right.
It'd be so funny if he just, like, smacked into Link's head with his pro.
I'm surprised they didn't. This Link gets physically abused hardcore throughout the entire game. So I'm surprised that they didn't just, like, donk him in the head with a boat. What is this character doing? He is saying words out of his mouth, and sound is accompanying it. I don't know what's happening in my Zelda. I believe this is what they call voice acting.
In massive quotation marks, man.
Yeah, we don't get that until Midna, but it's still pretty good for this character.
The boat's alive!
The boat must feed to survive. Then the tendrils extend and trap Link.
The boat laughs at your pain. No, this is the King of Red Lions. He is sort of your partner character for the game, but unfortunately, or fortunately for us, he can't, like, grow treads and follow us on land. He's strictly a sea kind of guy.
Pretty much think Midna if Midna couldn't follow, because he's on the title screen, and he knows definitely more about what the fuck's going on than you, and for a brief moment, it almost kind of seems like you're solving his problem, like you're doing his quest for him.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike Midna, who is doing it in a very manipulative way, this guy is honestly letting you get your shit done first. Like, he recognizes that you're only out here not to save the world, not to be the hero of time, you just want to save your sister. Which, again, I do really enjoy that Link has this downplayed personal quest to begin with.
Well, they're kind of intertwined with this, like, new threat. You know, to rescue Errol, we have to at least defeat the Helmaroc King, and to defeat the Helmaroc King, we've got to become stronger. So there's a guy here offering us, you know, tips on how to become stronger, so we may as well do what he says.
It's synergy, guys. It's friendship. It all ties into the anime look of this game.
Windfall Island. I'll have a lot to say about this one next time, but I dig this place. It's one of my favourite hubs in the Zelda universe.